Bubbles, Julian, and Ricky are back in a film. Of course I'm excited for this. Today we're doing a double feature. The first film for today is Y2K. Two high school nobodies crash a party on New Year's Eve in 1999 when the Y2K computer meltdown turns out to be real, and they, plus some other friends from the party, must fight to survive the technology that has turned sentient and is trying to kill humanity.
Dumbass. I use gel.
You've got mail.
I have to say, I was pretty excited to check out this movie. I was hoping like it would be a kind of cult classic, you know, sort of status, and it would be, you know, really fun and like hilarious at the minimum. So what did I think of Y2K? No, it was a total letdown. It was a total letdown. There are some aspects about this film that I really did enjoy. Like, I had fun at moments. There were some really hilarious things that were said and done throughout the film. So some of the comedy was pretty good. I really love Julian Dennison. I think he's a hilarious comedic actor, and I thought he was awesome in this film, like one of the best parts about it. And the best thing about this movie is the concept itself. Like, this is a great idea for a film, like Y2K, and if it was real, and if technology actually came to life in a sentient way, on a very like retro 1999 level, this movie is very fun, and it's very satisfying. And I think the director and writer, you know, tried really hard to make this world fun and interesting and cool, and had sort of its own vibe and stuff like that. And I appreciate this movie, you know, what they tried to do with it. However, after that, I don't really have that much positive stuff to say about this film. The biggest problem for me is that every time something happened in this movie, it kind of did the exact opposite of like what you were expecting and wanting. And I appreciate that, and I love when movies do that. But this movie didn't do any of those in a interesting way, in a fun way, in a way that involves and engages the audience. In fact, so many times throughout this movie, the story continuously tries to distance itself from the audience and, you know, wants us to care about these characters, but doesn't actually put in any of the legwork to get there. And so when these emotional moments with these characters happen, they don't feel very earned. I'm going to go into a little bit of spoilers here, so spoiler warning for y'all. The best friend in this film, played by Julian Dennison, he is so good in this movie. He is like the best character. I think he's so funny and just has an awesome personality, and is that character that you just like love and you attach onto and you just want to like hang out with, and really should have probably been the lead of this movie, but he is killed off pretty quickly, and he's dispensed in a really sad way. That part was effective, don't get me wrong. But, you know, that happens at about 25-30 minutes into the movie. And as soon as that character dies, the movie just drops dead. It loses all momentum. It completely blows. The second half of this film especially is really tiresome. And it's only an hour and a half movie, yet it felt like 2 hours in the movie theater, because at about an hour in, I was like, I'm done with this film. Like, I kept glancing at my watch. I was even pulling out my phone, which for me, I never do in a movie theater. I really don't like when people go on their phone, but I couldn't help it. Like, I was so bored for a big portions of this movie, you know. Then they would pull us in, you know, back in every once in a while with like a funny cameo or a great joke or a hilarious character moment. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this movie's completely dead in the water, but boy oh boy does that motor stop, you know, propelling after a certain amount of time in this film. And that's too bad, because I felt like this movie had potential to, like I said, to reach cult level status. Really, the characters, especially the two main characters that are played by Jaden Martell and Rachel Zegler, are very unlikable. Terrible character development, really bad plot points. It's okay to make a movie really campy and cheesy and over the top, and it's okay to make a movie really sentimental and emotional and heavy at parts, and it's okay to combine those two. But when this movie tried to combine those two, it just didn't do either one of them very well. And so you kind of just end up with this meh okay sort of puddle of mess at the end of it. There is a good movie there, and if they had reworked the script, if they had taken a bit more time on some of the action scenes, even some of the jokes and humor, this movie could have actually been like really funny and really entertaining, and I didn't get any of that. I know some people will love this movie, but for me, for someone who was really going in rooting for this film, I felt like I was completely let down. They tried to make the characters, the supporting characters, like so cool and fun and stuff like that, and I thought they were awful. Like, I couldn't stand it. And then the people that they kill off in this movie, I wanted to stay in the film. And I thought that the concept of this movie definitely outweighed the execution. So I'm going to go ahead and give Y2K a C. The next film for our double feature for today is Trailer Park Boys Standing on the Shoulder of Kitties, The Bubbles and the Shit Rockers Story. Holy hell, that's a long title. Whew. I love TPB. I think I've been a fan since like 2002, 3. And they're a Canadian staple, like proud Canadians. So what did I think of this film? It was pretty good. I had a fun time. I think you have to be a Trailer Park Boys fan in order to really love and appreciate this film. If you're just coming in totally blind and like this is the first time you've seen Trailer Park Boys, you're probably going to hate this movie. You're going to have no idea what this is. Like, this is definitely a movie made for fans of Bubbles and people who love Trailer Park Boys. And I had such a fun time. I was laughing out loud. The audience in the theater that I was in was having a great time with this movie too. There's some hilarious moments in this. This beautiful story of Bubbles trying to become like a musician, and eventually his band does make it after all these years. He's on this European tour, like going across like 5 or 6 different European countries. He gets to open for Billy Bob Thornton and his band. And then things go awry as per usual with Trailer Park Boys, and Ricky and Julian must fly over to Europe to help save Bubbles and help his musician stardom dreams come true. It's definitely focused on Bubbles a lot more than it is like Ricky, Julian, and Bubbles. Like, it's definitely a Bubbles movie. It's not a Trailer Park Boys movie. Even though Ricky and Julian and Randy and a few of the others are in this film. And I like that. It's great. But it's not a Trailer Park Boys movie. Like, this movie is definitely more of a solo focused project. You can tell this is written by Mike Smith, who plays Bubbles. It is a passion project for him, and you can feel that throughout this whole film, just from the songs that he writes, from the way that this movie is made. I love that it's like him opening for Billy Bob Thornton. I didn't even realize that Billy Bob Thornton had a band, and I just love that this movie pays tribute to, you know, people who are rock and rollers, and people who are musicians and artists. Like, this is definitely a love letter to those people. Now, some of the things I didn't quite think worked about this movie was that the fact that it's not Trailer Park Boys, it's a little bit of a letdown at times. Once we get rolling and going on the European tour, the movie really kicks in and is like awesome, but it takes a little bit of time to get into. The movie is about 1 hour and 50 minutes, and I get why it's so long, but the ending of the film kind of dragged a bit, and I was kind of, you know, getting a little impatient, especially in the last like 15-20 minutes where they get to really record at Abbey Road. And I love that. And I know why they spent so much of the movie in that room, in that space. But I got really sick of it, you know, and it just kind of kept going. So the pacing of the movie and the editing was definitely a little bit off. Truthfully, I was just happy to be spending time with Ricky, Bubbles, and Julian back on the big screen again. The show has been off, you know, they haven't made any new episodes for many years now. So I love that we got to see them on the screen again, and that was such a treat. Overall, like, I did enjoy this film. I laughed my ass off many times throughout this film. I love, you know, spending time with the Trailer Park Boys and this sort of world. I walked out of the theater with a smile on my face, even though this is probably not the best made movie of the year, and it's not even in the top probably 10 for comedies. I still had a good time, and I would recommend, especially for those people who are fans of Trailer Park Boys. So I'm going to go ahead and give Trailer Park Boys present Standing on the Shoulder of Kitties, The Bubbles and the Shit Rockers Story, a B-. If you like this video, click that like button and subscribe to my channel for more content. Also, comment down below, what did you think of these two movies? Did you like these two comedies? Which one did you like more? What was one of your favorite comedy movies of 2024? Thank you for checking out Mr. Teach Film Preach. Come back and check out some other movie reviews such as Wicked, Gladiator 2, and Moana 2. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you on the next film.